All right, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about something crazy that happened the other night, so let's get into it. Okay, so the other night I was playing with my cats because, of course, I was, with the little mouse on the string and stick, and they were chasing it around. When all of a sudden we heard a big bang and then the sound of metal grinding outside. And it frightened the cats, so they kind of ran off. And so we're like, what the hell is that? We looked outside, and there was some fool sitting in his car in the street. His axle had broken, and the grinding that we heard was him sliding to a stop in front of our house. And so after a while, the police showed up, and some of the neighbors started coming around. So I went outside to see what was going on, and one guy was really angry, and he was headed up the street with one of the police officers. But he was shouting and none too happy, as you'll learn why in a moment. Basically, the area of effect spell that I had placed around my home that extends out into the street had wrecked this guy's car as he drove into it. Now, I have talked about the area of effect spell that I had put up before as a safety and protection zone around my home that extends across the street so that my feral cats can have somewhere to cross safely. But an unintended side effect of this safety zone is that people like to stop in front of our house and just sit. It's a good place for them to just pull over, get on their phones, wait. I've even seen people eat their lunch just sitting in their car in front of our house. Now, they don't consciously know anything about the spell that I've done, but it's their subconscious that picks up on it. That's like, this is a safe and secure place to park. In fact, just days before this happened, my girlfriend had asked me, why is that guy sitting out in front of our house? And I had to remind her that I have an area of effect spell and that his subconscious is picking up on the fact that it's a safety zone. So I've talked about this before, and I go over how to do this in the 7 Planetary Powers program. I tell you how you can easily set up your own area of effect spells. But the one that I set up around my home and in front of my house absolutely wrecked this guy's car. Well, he wrecked it himself, but as he hit the safety zone, that's when his axle broke, which prevented him from going any further. You see, this fool lives about 6 or 7 houses up the street, which doesn't sound that far, but the yards are actually pretty long here, so it's a good ways up and around the corner and everything. So from what I'm told, he's a little older than I am, and lives with his elderly mother. Well, apparently this fool got in his car in the garage, backed out of the garage with the door still closed, hit a mint 74 Corvette on the other side of the street, well, it was in good shape, and then tore off down the street, hitting another guy's daughter's car, which is the only car that she has, totaled it, went up into their lawn, that's the side of the car that he hit, not from the street side, went across their lawn, came back out into the street, and then as he approached my house and hit the safety zone, his axle snapped, and then we heard him skidding across the concrete to a full stop. Of course, he blamed everything from his meds to losing control of the vehicle, mechanical failure. But it obviously sounds like something someone drunk would do, and that's probably the case, but they took him away in an ambulance to get checked out, because he got rocked by that airbag. And of course, the guy who was shouting out there was the one whose daughter's car was totaled because they don't have another vehicle for her. I can only imagine what the guy with the 74 Corvette was thinking. That's just something you shouldn't be parking in the street. Your best ride should be in the garage. But it is what it is. I went outside to make sure my ride was okay. Now, you may be thinking, if it's a safety zone that I put up, why would it trash this guy's car? And the answer is simple: to stop him from continuing on his rampage. That zone could have saved his life and the lives of others. Because I said it, and a police officer later said it too, that if his axle wouldn't have broken and stopped him right then, he certainly would have continued on. And the destruction rampage would have continued, and we're not that far from the highway. Had he gotten on the highway in that condition, I would hate to think what would happen. So, yeah, as soon as he hit the safety zone, bam, that car went out. We went up the street the next day and saw the devastation. the tire marks through the yards, the trashed car and the Corvette, and the old lady's boarded up garage. Now, it's a reminder that some people just never get their act together. Some people just never learn. I mean, there's really no excuse for that. It should be quite obvious that you shouldn't be behind a wheel once you back out of the garage with the door closed. This area of effect safety zone around my home and the street in front of my home has been up and going for quite a long time. And its effects aren't that noticeable for the most part because it's protecting and keeping things peaceful. It's only when people stop and chill in front of our house or dramatic things like this happen that you really notice its potency. I had told the story of the one time that another drunk idiot was speeding down the street, went up into the side yard, and then came within inches of running into our garage, which I was in at the time. Had he hit, I would have been pinned between the car and our car. And it was a rainy night. He slid pretty good, but we were spared, and I believe it was because of the safety zone. Had it not been for that, I don't know if he would have been able to stop in time. It's done what it needed to do. It's protected the home and those within the area. And that's key, because if you're within the area, you're being protected. And the best protection for that driver in that moment was to stop his rampage. The best protection for the drunk heading towards our garage would be to stop him from running into the garage and protect me in doing so. So it's very effective and works fantastically. And this time I picked up on it immediately. When I was told everything that happened while I was out there talking to the neighbors, I wanted to say, you hit the safety zone. But it's not something I could just tell people. But I recognized it for what it was. And I got to give thanks and props to Jupiter, because that's the planet I worked with in setting up this area of effect. That's why it's included in the 7 Planetary Powers program. So if you're interested in setting up a safety zone around your home like this, I'm going to offer 20% off the 7 Planetary Powers program through this video only. Link will be in the video and in the description. The 7 Planetary Powers is the most complete and comprehensive program on planetary magic available today. If you're not doing planetary magic, then you're missing out on most of magic, because practically all magic is tied to astrology, and practically all the grimoires refer to it in some manner. But a lot of people skip planetary magic because it seems too complex. That's where the 7 Planetary Powers comes in. It's going to explain it in a way that's easy to understand and do. We're going to go over the 3 things that constitute planetary magic. We're going to go over the importance of the moon cycles. We're going to cover all 49 planetary hours along with the planetary correspondence keyword system so that you know how to best use them. I'm going to show how to invoke and banish each of the planetary powers, how to best use planetary retrogrades, how to set up area of effect spells, and much more. So if you want to supercharge your magic with the power of the planets, the 7 Planetary Powers is the program to do it. You can get the 7 Planetary Powers and other Mind and Magic programs over at mindandmagic.com today. So this magic may have saved this guy's life and the lives of others. The downside is that he left a big stain in front of our house. It doesn't appear to be oil. I think it may be just brake fluid from his tire giving way under the broken axle. A lot of times I forget that it's even there, that I've even have that set up, and then wonder why these things happen in front of my home. And then I'm like, oh yeah. I'm not supposed to be consciously dwelling on it anyway. You do have to kind of put it out of your mind. But I wanted to share it because it was quite the interesting evening that I know my magic directly affected. I wish I could have seen him come barreling out of the garage door. I would have lost it. That's just crazy. And everyone involved is just hoping this guy has insurance. That's a lot of damage in that trail of destruction to not be covered. And according to the neighbor that lives right next door to him, which I spoke with today, she wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have insurance because he has a history of bad decision making. Magic can help you out in life quite a bit, but ultimately where you end up in life is going to be a result of your decision making. If you have good decision making abilities, and you make all the right decisions, the odds are that you're going to end up well off. And if you're somebody that makes all bad decisions and the wrong choices, odds are that you're not going to end up well off, and you could even end up a danger to yourself or others. So it's very important to make good decisions. This guy is a prime example. And fortunately, if you are one of those people, magic can assist you with it. It's very easy to put instructions into our subconscious to assist us with our decision making. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to share that with you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.